You go to sleep thinking your body is resting, but what if I told you there's one mistake, one small thing that millions of people over 65 are making every single night that quietly triggers inflammation while you sleep? And worse, it's something you probably think is healthy. Why does this mistake go unnoticed? What damage is it doing to your heart, your brain, even your immune system, while you believe you're resting peacefully? The truth is, fixing this one thing could change your sleep, reduce your pain, and even extend your life, but you won't. Believe what it is. Before we get started, if you're serious about staying healthy, avoiding chronic disease, and aging with energy, not just years, make sure to subscribe right now because we're about to break down the science no one else is telling you. Let's go ahead and unravel the hidden truth behind the silent inflammation that could be simmering inside your body every night while you sleep. The kind that doesn't just make you stiff in the morning or tired during the day. It could be slowly damaging your heart, your brain, even your liver. And the weirdest part? It all starts with something that feels incredibly safe, maybe even comforting. If you're over 65, chances are you've been told to eat a light dinner. Maybe even sip on something soothing before bed. A bowl of cereal, a slice of toast, a cup of warm milk, maybe even a glass of juice or a few crackers if you're feeling a bit hungry before sleep. After all, who wants to go to bed hungry, right? But here's the thing. That seemingly harmless nighttime snack may be lighting a fire inside your body. Not the good kind, the kind that fuels chronic inflammation. Now here's what most people don't realize. Once you hit your 60s and beyond, your body doesn't respond to food the same way it used to. Your cells become less sensitive to insulin, the hormone that moves sugar out of your blood and into your cells. This is a natural part of aging. It's called insulin resistance. And for many people, it starts silently, without symptoms. That little snack you eat before bed, it spikes your blood sugar. Your body scrambles to produce insulin, but because your cells are resistant, the sugar sticks around in your bloodstream longer than it should. And what does that do? It creates internal stress. It triggers inflammatory pathways. It sends your immune system into a low-grade chronic alert. And while you're asleep, your body is supposed to be cleaning up, repairing, and resetting. But instead, it's fighting the inflammation caused by a nighttime blood sugar spike, fighting oxidative stress, fighting the very conditions that increase your risk for heart disease, dementia, and type 2 diabetes. And here's the truly scary part. It doesn't take much. Just a slice of white bread, half a banana, or even a low-fat yogurt, something with sugar or starch, can be enough to kick off this whole chain reaction. So let me ask you, how often do you feel stiff in the morning or wake up feeling like you haven't really rested? How often do you feel like your joints ache more than they should or that your brain just isn't firing on all cylinders the next day? These aren't random signs of aging. They may be your body whispering, "I'm inflamed." Whispering because chronic inflammation doesn't scream. It builds quietly. Now let's go deeper. Inflammation is not always bad. It's how your body heals. You get a cut. Your body inflames that area to clean it up, fight infection, and repair. That's acute inflammation. It comes, it does its job, it leaves. But chronic inflammation, that's different. That's when your immune system never fully shuts off. That's when your body starts attacking itself, your blood vessels, your brain, your organs. And it's this type of inflammation that is now known to be at the root of almost every major chronic disease. Heart disease, Alzheimer's, arthritis, even cancer. So where does the nighttime mistake come in? It's in giving your body a reason to inflame every single night when it's supposed to be recovering. Let's use science to explain what actually happens inside your body after that late snack. Once food enters your stomach, especially if it's high in sugar or processed carbs, your blood sugar begins to rise. Now, your pancreas releases insulin to bring it back down. But over time, especially if this becomes a nightly habit, your body's response becomes less efficient. It takes longer to clear the sugar, and your insulin levels stay higher longer. High insulin equals fat storage, yes, but it also promotes inflammation. But it doesn't stop there. During sleep, your body follows a very specific hormonal rhythm. Growth hormone rises to repair tissues. Melatonin rises to help you sleep. But elevated insulin can suppress both. And when insulin is high, fat burning stops. Instead of your body cleaning house, it's stuck processing food. Instead of burning fat, it stores it. And instead of reducing inflammation, it adds to it. And the part of this that makes it so deceptive is how subtle it all feels. You might sleep through the night, wake up thinking you're fine, and yet the damage is happening silently, internally. And night after night, it adds up. It's the kind of thing that doesn't just make you tired or sore, it can push you closer to chronic disease, even if you think you're doing everything right. But there's good news. The body is incredibly resilient. And even in your 60s, 70s, 80s, when you remove the triggers, your body can respond. You just have to let it. And that starts by eliminating that late-night mistake, eating close to bedtime, especially sugary, starchy, or processed foods. Let me ask you something. Have you ever tried going to bed without eating after dinner? And not just skipping food, but noticing how you feel the next morning? Clearer head, less joint pain, maybe even waking up feeling a bit lighter, more rested? That's not a coincidence. That's your body finally getting the chance to do what it was designed to do overnight, heal. Now, if you're wondering, but won't I be hungry if I don't eat before bed? That's a valid concern, especially if you've been doing it for years. But that hunger, it usually fades after a few days of changing your routine, because your body begins to adapt, and the reward is massive. Better sleep, reduced inflammation, improved blood sugar control, and even weight loss without changing anything else. Because when you stop feeding your body at night, it taps into your fat stores. You burn fat while you sleep. That's not just metabolism, that's smart aging. And here's where it gets even more interesting. Multiple studies have shown that time-restricted eating, where you stop eating a few hours before bed, can improve insulin sensitivity, reduce inflammatory markers like CRP, and even lower nighttime blood pressure. This isn't just theory, this is real biology. And just to be clear, we're not talking about starvation. This isn't about skipping meals entirely or going hungry. This is about alignment. Aligning when you eat with when your body is designed to digest. Your digestion slows down at night. Your metabolism slows. Your insulin sensitivity drops. So when you eat late, your body is simply not equipped to handle it well. But when you eat earlier and allow your body a fasting window, say 12 to 14 hours, it gets to work in ways no pill or supplement can replicate. Autophagy kicks in, a cellular cleanup process that clears out damaged cells and reduces inflammation. Your liver gets to regenerate. Your brain benefits too, because nighttime is when your glymphatic system flushes out toxins that build up during the day. But none of this works properly if your body is busy digesting a bowl of cereal or a banana smoothie at midnight. Now you might be thinking, okay, I'll skip the snack, but what should I eat for dinner then? Great question. The answer is something that keeps your blood sugar stable and doesn't trigger a late-night spike. Think healthy fats, moderate protein, fiber-rich vegetables. Maybe a piece of salmon with steamed broccoli and olive oil, or a salad with avocado and a handful of nuts. Foods that digest steadily and nourish your body without causing inflammation. And yes, hydration matters too. A lot of people mistake thirst for hunger. So sipping herbal tea or a glass of water in the evening can help curb the desire to snack. The real transformation begins when you realize that food is not just fuel, it's information. Every bite tells your body what to do next. And when you change the timing of those bites, you shift the entire hormonal and metabolic landscape of your body. If you're over 50 and your joints ache when you get out of bed, go upstairs or just try to enjoy a walk. It's not your age, and it's not your fault. The real issue? Your body's running out of a natural substance that cushions your joints like a shock absorber. And most supplements out there, glucosamine, collagen, all of it, don't fix this. But now, researchers have discovered a breakthrough that can actually restore what your joints are missing. And people in their 60s, 70s, even 80s are seeing real relief. If you're feeling stiff, sore, or weaker lately, stop guessing. Check the link in the pinned comment now. Here's where it gets even more fascinating. You see, after the age of 65, our body's ability to tolerate metabolic stress goes down. That includes blood sugar swings, insulin spikes, oxidative stress, especially at night. And every time we nudge that system in the wrong direction, even just a little, it becomes harder for our body to self-correct. It's like trying to steer a boat with a damaged rudder. You can still move, but the correction is slower, and sometimes not strong enough to prevent a crash. That's what happens when chronic inflammation builds up slowly, quietly, over years. And that nighttime mistake becomes a silent contributor to everything from joint pain to high blood pressure to brain fog and memory loss. Now, let's Talk about one of the most overlooked connections, inflammation and the brain. When you eat late at night and your blood sugar spikes, you trigger something called neuroinflammation. It's inflammation in the brain, and the older you get, the more sensitive your brain becomes to these metabolic shifts. There's a structure in the brain called the hippocampus, responsible for memory, learning, and mood regulation. It's also one of the most vulnerable parts of the brain to inflammation. Studies have shown that even small elevations in fasting blood sugar and insulin can impair hippocampal function. Now imagine that happening every single night. You go to bed thinking you're doing fine. Maybe you even sleep through the night, but your brain is inflamed. You wake up groggy, forgetful, irritable, not because you didn't sleep enough, but because your brain didn't recover. And this is where many people confuse symptoms. They think it's just aging, just normal. But what's normal isn't always optimal, and what's common isn't always harmless. Waking up tired, needing coffee to function, feeling stiff for the first few hours of the day, those are signals, not just of age, but of inflammation. And in many cases, that inflammation is tied to food, especially the timing of food. Now let's circle back to insulin. After 65, insulin resistance becomes more prevalent. It's estimated that up to 50% of older adults may have some degree of insulin resistance, even if their blood sugar still tests normal. Why? Because fasting glucose is only part of the story. It doesn't tell you how much insulin your body is producing just to keep that glucose in check. So your blood sugar might look okay, but your pancreas is working overtime behind the scenes. That's like looking at a dam and saying, the water's not leaking, without realizing the pressure is building on the other side. And eventually, it cracks. This is why more doctors are starting to test fasting insulin levels, not just glucose, because insulin is often the canary in the coal mine. And when you eat late at night and spike insulin when your body is least ready to handle it, you create metabolic chaos. You're pouring water into an already full bucket. And this brings us to one of the most profound benefits of fixing the nighttime mistake: sleep quality. Your sleep is not just about hours. It's about stages. Deep sleep is where your body repairs muscle and tissue. REM sleep is where your brain processes memories and emotions. But elevated insulin and blood sugar can reduce your time in deep sleep. They can fragment your sleep cycles. That's why people who eat late tend to wake up more during the night, or wake up feeling like they never truly rested. Even worse, inflammation itself disrupts sleep. It affects melatonin, your sleep hormone. It affects cortisol, your stress hormone. And the more inflamed you are, the more likely your sleep cycles will be broken, which creates more inflammation. It's a vicious loop, but here's the beauty in all of this. That loop can be reversed. It doesn't require medication. It doesn't require extreme diets. It just requires timing. Simply finishing your last meal at least 3 hours before bed can create a cascade of benefits. Lower inflammation, better sleep, more energy, sharper brain, less pain. Now imagine stacking those benefits day after day, week after week. What would your life feel like if your mornings felt fresh again? If your joints moved more freely? If your brain felt clear and focused? That's what's possible when you correct this one mistake. And to make it even easier, I'll tell you what to avoid specifically after dinner. First, refined carbs. That includes white bread, pasta, crackers, and yes, even healthy whole grain cereal. These are fast-digesting, high glycemic foods that spike blood sugar and insulin almost instantly. At night, that's a metabolic disaster. Second, sugary snacks, fruit juice, flavored yogurt, cookies, energy bars. Even if they claim to be natural or organic, they often contain added sugars that sneak past your radar, and your body, especially at night, can't afford to process that. Third, alcohol. It may seem relaxing, but alcohol before bed disrupts deep sleep, spikes blood sugar, especially sweet wines or mixed drinks, and adds to liver inflammation. And your liver already works the night shift. Don't give it more work. Fourth, large fatty meals. Even if they're healthy fats, digestion takes time. If you eat a heavy late dinner, you force your digestive system to stay active when it should be powering down. That delays sleep onset and lowers recovery quality. So what should you do instead? Aim to finish dinner at least 3 hours before bed. Make that dinner rich in non-starchy vegetables, healthy fats like olive oil or avocado, and a moderate portion of protein like wild salmon, organic chicken, or legumes if you tolerate them well. Hydrate, but avoid drinking a lot of water too, close to bedtime. That can interrupt sleep with trips to the bathroom. Herbal teas like chamomile or ginger are great. Soothing, anti-inflammatory, and promote digestion. Resist the urge for dessert. If you really need something sweet, go for a small handful of berries. But ideally, try to train your taste buds to wind down without sugar. If you're hungry before bed, ask yourself, am I truly hungry or just conditioned? Because often, late-night hunger is a habit, a cue, a ritual, not a real need. And once you pause, breathe, and maybe sip some tea, you'll realize the craving passes. Now let's step back and look at the big picture. You've learned that a simple, common nighttime habit could be triggering inflammation. You've learned how that inflammation can show up in ways you never connected, like joint pain, brain fog, poor sleep, even chronic disease. You've learned how insulin resistance makes this worse with age, and you've seen how changing the timing of your meals can switch the body from inflamed and overloaded to calm and healing. But here's the most important part. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to track every number. All you need is awareness. Once you know the truth about how food timing affects inflammation, you can start making better choices, slowly, consistently, and your body will respond. Every night is a new opportunity to heal, to reset, to give your body the space it needs to clean house, rebuild, and regenerate. And when you stop feeding the fire with that one mistake, your body rewards you. More clarity, better sleep, less pain, and perhaps most importantly, more years lived with energy and joy, not just time on the clock. If you found this eye-opening, you'll want to watch the next video on screen where we dive into another hidden trigger that could be silently damaging your heart without you even realizing it. Don't miss it. It could be the next key to unlocking your healthiest years. Yet.